All right, when you're sourcing these frogs, you really want to pay close attention to the quality of them. You can go online, you can find them for 8, 9, 10, 12 bucks. But the ones you really want to look for is the Umpqua version with the 80-89 nickel plated hook. I'm telling you, that is the one to have. First step you're going to do with this particular frog is you're going to get rid of this weed guard. I've had nothing but issues with it, moving to the left, moving to the right, and then picking up weeds, even more weeds than it does when you don't have it on there. So the first thing I do is remove the weed guard. Just come in here with a pair of scissors, trim there, bend that back, trim right there. All right, step 2, one problem with this fly is when you have this long crystal flash coming off the back, it tends to foul, wrap on there, and it just drives you nuts throughout the course of the day. So what I like to do is I'll get it wet, maybe with some water or some spit, and just pull that back. Take a pair of nippers, grab it right at the base, and just kind of pull on it and rip that out of there, and you can thin it right out. I don't like any long pieces in there, but I don't mind having a little bit. Step 3 to the frog is you're gonna take these hackles and you're gonna kind of strengthen them up and also stiffen them up. And how you do that is you use the UV clear fly finish flow. What I do is I'll just take the feathers, kind of spread them apart here, and do one side at a time, just kind of coat the base of the feather, the stem region with the flow. Give that a hit with your UV light. And you're gonna do the same on the opposite side. So it's really important when you're sourcing these to actually get your hands on them or speak with somebody that understands what you're looking for. You're gonna find some inconsistencies in the deer hair. So this frog on my right here, you can see is collared, razored all the way back to the black. And the opposite frog in my left hand is only trimmed back to the olive. So you want that elongated head on the front, which is gonna give you a better swim and give you a better sound. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a razor blade to trim the frog on the left to thin out that collar and make that, elongate the head of the fly. What you wanna do is avoid cutting those rubber legs off. So it's gonna take a little bit of practice to get used to doing this, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna take those rubber legs. In my case, I'm a right-handed dominant guy here, so I'm gonna take the rubber legs and I'm gonna pull them down real tight, and I'm gonna pull them back to between my thumb and my index finger so they're out of the way. Then I'm gonna take my flexible razor blade, I'm gonna shape that, and I'm gonna come right back up in there and I'm gonna trim that hair back till I get to the black. So at this point in the game, you're gonna switch over to the Loon UV thick. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna pull the rubber legs out of the way. You might need a bodkin at home if you're doing this. I've had a little experience doing it, so I can get it on here nice and even. Just kind of come up around the edge. Take it all the way back to about the hook point. Just kind of fill this all in. You want it to be fairly thick. What this is gonna do for you, one, it's gonna add durability to the fly. I have some of these flies that I've fished for well over a year, some up to 2 years. And 2, this fly is gonna land on its belly 95 to 99% of the time because of that little extra added weight. So durability, and it lands proper when you do this. Now you're putting it on there pretty thick, so when you do hit it with the light, it's gonna take a good 45 seconds to a minute to cure this guy up. Let her lay flat, hit it. All right, the final step is gonna be using this Yellowstone Fly Goods flyagra. And what I like to do is I just like to dunk the fly in here. If you're using the big one, the size 2, you're gonna always wanna go nose down. If you go this way, it's gonna be really difficult to get that out. So what I do is I just take it, fit it right in there, give her a little dunk, swish it around a little bit. Sometimes you gotta use scissors to get it out. Just come in here, grab by the hook, work it out of there. Set it on a piece of paper towel. At home I have a piece of foam that I stick them in. And then what I like to do is I'll just put them on the back deck or out on the picnic table and let them dry in the sun. But these things are not ready to fish. You want to let this dry for probably 24 hours. This is something you want to do at home versus doing it on the water. Okay. With the combination of the Loon UV thick and the flyagra, it really gives this fly a realistic place in the water column. It rides low just like a real frog, adds durability, makes a really great sound, and there really is no replacement for deer hair, so that is the way to do it.